into the brachial, and we did not go any further, right? That way, that would be it. This artery would be brachial, this one be axillary, and here, this one would be left subclavian, right? Left subclavian. I guess that would be arteries in a thorax. When we get to the arteries in the abdominal cavity, obviously the thoracic aorta continues, passes through the hiatus in the diaphragm, and then continues as an abdominal aorta. Right? Abdominal aorta, where we can see abdominal aorta, right? Abdominal aorta. The first branch from abdominal aorta would be the inferior phrenic artery, but we don't worry about that, okay? The first branch what we consider is here, celiac trunk or celiac artery. Now, celiac artery will branch into 3 arteries, and that is this over here will be hepatic, right? Hepatic artery, then gastric, gastric artery, and here this continues into the spleen, that way it is a splenic, this big one, right? The splenic artery, that's what we need to know. Splenic, gastric, and hepatic artery. Hepatic artery is relatively small considering to the size of the organ and so, but you possibly read already that the hepatic artery brings only roughly 20% of the blood flow into the liver, and this blood flow is really rich in oxygenated blood, rich in oxyhemoglobin, but really poor in nutrients. And nutrients are coming through the hepatic portal system, and then those two bloods, and we will study that in digestive system, they mix together. Right? And that will be later. Anyway, here is that celiac trunk or celiac artery. Then another one, this one is the superior mesenteric artery. Superior mesenteric artery supplies the small intestine plus ascending and transverse colon. Right? That way, this is the superior mesenteric. And here we have a kidney, right? And then to the kidney, this is the renal artery, and this one would be suprarenal, or at least should be. Oh, no. Right. There is some kind of flow, or maybe a little anomaly in this cat. That we see it better on this side, right? Here on the right side we see the renal artery, and about the renal, right here, this would be suprarenal. Suprarenal goes to adrenal gland, right? Suprarenal, renal. Then another one, what we see here, and it should be right here, right? This will be gonadal artery, and since this is the female, then it will be ovarian. In a male, it will be called testicular, right? And here, this one is inferior mesenteric artery. Inferior mesenteric artery will supply descending colon, sigmoid colon, and rectum, right? That will be descending mesenteric artery. Now aorta continues, and here they call it something sacrolumbar or something, but this is just really analogous to lumbar arteries in humans, right? Only thing that we have more than just one. We have as many as 5, right, for each as a lumbar segment, right? Now here will be lumbar, and I think they call it something, I cannot remember in a cat, all right? And now the aorta branches into, and there's another difference with the humans, into the external iliac, and here little lower internal iliac. Where in humans we would have that aorta, abdominal aorta, branches into the common iliacs, and then common iliacs branch into the external, what continues as a femoral, right? And internal, what supplies the organs of pelvic cavity and external reproductive organs and so. And then here we have, this will be external iliac, and you see that it continues right here as the femoral. Right, femoral, and that's where we stopped the dissection. We didn't go any further. And here, this one, the smaller one, and little more caudally, that would be the internal iliac artery. Those are arteries. And when we go back, and again, I have a tendency to go against the flow. But when you are studying veins, try to go with the flow of the heart, of the blood, right? The way from the venules and veins to as they are merging together into the larger and larger. Would we see this very obvious one? That would be inferior vena cava, right? And again, here we have the femoral vein. Femoral vein comes into the common iliac, not common, the external iliac, I'm sorry, I'm confused with the human, external iliac, and then fuses into, or yields into the inferior vena cava. Now, here we have again a lumbar vein, right, parallel with the, what I call lumbar artery, but I believe in cat it is somewhat differently. Then we have here obviously large renal vein, and now the renal vein on the left side we should have that into the renal vein the gonadal vein plus the suprarenal vein will flow into the renal vein, and the renal vein will bring the blood into the inferior vena cava. On the right side it should be that all of these three flow directly, individual and directly into the inferior vena cava. On this cat it is not so obvious. Right? It is not so obvious, but just remember that this will be the renal vein. Renal vein. This looks like a suprarenal, and you see that it goes directly into the vena cava, which should not be. Right? Now the blood flow from the viscera of the abdominal cavity, that way from like stomach, from spleen, from pancreas, from intestines, go into the portal system, and this is the triple injected cat. The way we see, this is the large intestine. This is the inferior mesenteric vein. Remember, it's yellow because it's portal, it goes into the hepatic sinuses. This is the inferior mesenteric vein. Here we see superior mesenteric vein. Here is a gastric mesenteric vein, right? And they all flow into the hepatic portal vein. If I can dig it out here somewhere. All right. If we pull this up a little, you see how here this will be the right inferior mesenteric, actually superior mesenteric, and this is a gastric, and there is a duodenopancreatic, and they go into here under the probe. That would be already the hepatic portal vein, right? That continues towards the liver. In the liver, the blood is poured into the liver sinuses. What are sinuses? Capillaries, right? Type of the capillaries, and then the blood is collected into the hepatic veins. Right, the way here would be, and we have as many hepatic veins as we have lobes. That way, in the humans we should have like roughly 2, and in the cats we have 7 lobes. That way, there should be 7 hepatic veins, and then those hepatic veins yield or pour the blood into the inferior vena cava, and inferior vena cava brings it to right atrium. Excellent. All right, that would be inferior vena cava. Here we see superior vena cava, again comes to the right atrium.